This episode of ETC is sponsored by Oculus. What's up, guys? It's time for Weekly Weird News.
Now, we talk about North Korea's glorious leader, Kim Jong-un, quite a lot on this show.
Yeah.
He has a rightful place in the Weekly Weird News pantheon, right alongside Malachi Love Robinson, Martin Shkreli, Rodrigo Duterte, and the blind. But Kim Jong-un has feelings too, guys. At the end of the day, he's just another human being. He puts his pants on one leg at a time, just like us.
No, he doesn't, Elliot. He jumps into them both legs at a time.
Puts them on one leg at a time.
Yeah.
Of course, once those pants are on, he sends entire families to slave labor camps and threatens to nuke other countries.
Oh, you're just saying that.
Still, though, it's easy to forget that all the mean things that people say about Kim Jong-un can be really hurtful, especially fat shaming.
Now, sure, Kim has put on a little bit of weight since taking over the family business, and sure, here's some pictures of what he'd look like if he actually ate a healthy diet. But this is all his dad's fault for sending him to a boarding school in Switzerland in the 90s under a false name and getting little Kim hooked on cheese and lots of chocolates. Woo! They taste so good.
Switzerland ruined this man.
They ruined him. So back in 2014, he even sent a team of North Koreans to France to learn how to make cheese better because the imported stuff just wasn't cutting it. On top of cheese, he reportedly loves whiskey and wine, the finer things in life. Mm-hmm. And as we told you a few weeks back, he bragged about drinking 10 bottles of Bordeaux in one night.
Bro, I totally did.
He did. As glorious leader, he, of course, does deserve the best, even if that means large portions of the population don't have food of their own and have to resort to eating dogs and rats. But, guys, fat shaming is seriously not cool. You gotta stop. And by the way, those dogs are good for you. We put out a letter that said so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, fat shaming is especially not cool when you do it behind someone's back and they're your friend. And Kim doesn't have a whole lot of friends, so it's not hard to figure out who we're talking about. It's China.
China.
North Korea and China go way back. Un's grandpa, Kim Il-sung, learned all about being a commie from the Chinese when he moved to China to help them fight the Japanese in the 1930s. After World War II and the U.S.-Soviet division of Korea into North and South, in 1948, the USSR designated Kim as the leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And soon after, China went full commie themselves in 1949 with the end of the Chinese Civil War and the establishment of the People's Republic of China under Chairman Mao Zedong.
That's who Chairman Mao is. I just thought he was all over those like Chinese restaurants on the papers that you get and stuff.
No.
He's real?
No, he was the founder of the People's Republic.
Huh. I learned something.
Yeah.
So North Korea and China are neighbors. They got into the whole communism thing around the same time, and despite growing apart over the last 50 years in terms of human rights, economics, and pretty much every category aside from the basic definition of communism, they've always had each other's backs, and China remains North Korea's closest ally. The only problem is China might be North Korea's best friend, but to China, North Korea is sort of like that kid your parents made you play with when you were like 6 years old who you still politely say hi to in the halls, but share nothing in common with aside from the distant memories of playing Pokemon cards together or something. A game that he still loves and won't stop talking about, even though you've moved on to other things like fingering chicks and playing junior varsity basketball. Even so, when your jock friend makes fun of North Korea or tells you to steal North Korea's lunch money, you definitely defend North Korea, mostly because you kind of feel bad for him. He's still there for you.
Mm-hmm. Which brings us back to fat shaming. China might not be anywhere near the West in terms of freedom of expression, but they've still gradually loosened up quite a bit over the last few years, especially compared with North Korea. Combine that with Chinese people's relative prosperity in recent years, and you've got a whole lot of people in China using the internet, particularly Weibo, China's most popular social network, and their answer to Facebook and Twitter, which are both officially blocked in China.
Yeah.
So you're going to use Weibo. And young Chinese people on the internet, they don't see North Korea as an ideological ally so much as they see North Korea as their grandpa's old friend who comes to dinner sometimes and acts like a drunk old fat asshole. Thus, Kim Jong-un has come to be referred to by some users of Chinese social media as Jin San Pong, which translates to Kim Fatty III, and Jin San Fei, which means Kim Abundant III. Very rude.
Oh, that hurts. Well, okay, now, according to Hong Kong-based Chinese tabloid newspaper Apple Daily, high-ranking North Korean officials are so worried about Kim Jong-un seeing those kinds of nicknames and having a big old temper tantrum that they've formally requested that the Chinese government ban the terms from the internet, from television, and from newspapers. Because when Kim gets mad, heads roll. Literally.
He kills people.
And it would seem that China actually complied. Previously, if you went to Baidu, China's top search engine, and started typing Jin San Pang, the autocomplete algorithm would know what you're looking for before you even finish typing it. It was that popular.
Yeah.
Not the case anymore. Searching for Jin San Pang now yields no Baidu results, though apparently other variation like Kim Fat, they're still getting through.
3 fats.
Yeah.
He's the third.
Fatty, fat, you fat fuck.
China, of course, denies all of this, with a foreign ministry spokesman saying that reports of the ban do not comply with facts. But he also followed that up with, quote, "The Chinese government stays committed to building a healthy and civilized environment of opinions. We disapprove of referring to the leader of any country with insulting and mocking remarks." So he basically is saying, oh, no, we totally don't know what you're talking about, but hey, now that you mention it, Kim Fatty III, that's pretty mean, guys. I mean, you really shouldn't fat shame North Korea's glorious leader like that. Come on. Jeez.
Yeah, it's good that North Korea and China are going to solve the whole fat shaming thing before America does. Good for them. Anyways, speaking of China, as ridiculous as they are sometimes, they don't really take kindly to President-elect Donald Trump's insistence that climate change is a, quote, Chinese hoax created to weaken U.S. manufacturing, which he first claimed in 2012 in a tweet and then doubled down on more recently during his campaign. China's foreign minister this week clapped back at Trump, while at a UN meeting earlier, and said that China couldn't have invented global warming as a hoax to harm U.S. competitiveness because it was Donald Trump's Republican predecessors who started climate negotiations in the 1980s. U.S. Presidents Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush supported the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and initiated global warming talks even before China knew that negotiations to cut polluting were starting.
Yeah, so it's a bit weird when China becomes the voice of reason on climate change, considering they've basically been one giant country-sized cloud of carbon emissions for the last 20 plus years. But they, along with 192 other countries, including the US, signed the Paris Agreement earlier this year to lower global carbon emissions. An agreement Donald Trump says he's going to back out of so that the US can create more jobs in coal, gas, and oil.
Oh, the jobs that everyone wants. I got the black lung again, Pa.
Yeah. And
thanks, Donald Trump.
And sure, that could have just been one of those things that Trump said, not because he actually meant it, but because it made people feel good. But Trump just appointed Myron Ebel, a guy who has spent the last 20 years claiming that climate change is a hoax, as head of the Environmental Protection Agency.
That's ironic. Is that irony?
It's irony.
Okay, good, because I was confused.
Put it in the song, Alanis.
Yeah.
So that's scary and kind of infuriating, but not nearly as scary as noted alleged Zodiac serial killer Ted Cruz, whose father allegedly assassinated JFK, allegedly being eyed as Trump's U.S. Attorney General. That's also possibly happening.
Is it irony that there's going to be a lot of iron in the water now?
Yeah.
Good.
The water's going to be very ironic.
Yeah. Ironic presidency. Great stuff. But that's not all the Trump news. We can't even look at other news stories anymore because it is dominating our feeds. So here you go. We briefly mentioned the other day that New Balance sneakers are now the official shoe of white Trump voters and white supremacists. They went that far. So let's look a little closer at that. So last week, New Balance's VP of Public Affairs, a man who probably should know what he's saying before he says it, his name was Matt LeBreton, he told a reporter, "The Obama administration turned a deaf ear to us, and frankly, with President Trump, we feel things are going to move in the right direction." It's pretty innocuous, really, especially compared to a lot of other election reactions from other companies. But as with any time a company makes a political statement, either way, the internet quickly started taking sides, with diehard Trumpeters getting behind New Balance's courage and anti-Trump people threatening to boycott the brand. And that's fine at that point.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Apple had their courage moment, and all the white people lined up behind that.
I will get rid
Where
of
are my headphones?
So for their part, New Balance, they quickly posted a statement to Twitter vaguely addressing the controversy, saying, quote, "We believe in community, we believe in humanity. From the people who make our shoes to the people who wear them, we believe in acting with the utmost integrity, and we welcome all walks of life."
Nice.
But then the white supremacist website, The Daily Stormer, which apparently over the last year has turned into essentially a meme-filled extension of certain parts of 4chan, they jumped into the fray with a blog post titled, "Your Uniform. New Balance just became the official shoes of white people."
Wow.
In it, the author writes, "This will be fantastic. We will be able to recognize one another by our sportswear. If it's about time for you to get a new pair of shoes, or if you've got disposable income to spend on extra shoes, go buy a pair now."
Okay, so it's important to note that the Daily Stormer, aside from being a white supremacist haven, is also full of trolls, and they knew exactly what they were doing here because the original quote was being shared completely out of context. That New Balance VP was specifically referring to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP, which you'll be hearing a lot about. New Balance opposes that because, unlike other shoe companies, they still have factories primarily in the US, and they worried that TPP would hurt their business by forcing jobs overseas. It was a statement specifically about trade and nothing else.
Still, once the Daily Stormer starts calling you the official shoe of white people, that's arguably worse for business than any international trade deal, so New Balance's Twitter released yet another statement, a little more forceful this time, saying, New Balance does not tolerate bigotry or hate in any form, followed by an explanation that the original quotes were specifically about trade and the fact that New Balance proudly manufactures their shoes in the United States.
Yeah, white pride, right?
But the trolls at the Daily Stormer weren't about to let New Balance get out of this so easy, so they posted another blog post titled, New Balance Twitter hacked, Daily Stormer denouncement a hoax.
Good, I guess. I have no idea. This is fucking bonkers. In it, they claimed that New Balance's Matt LeBreton had called up the Daily Stormer and said that filthy anti-Republican Jews had hacked the Twitter account, and he had actually intended to tweet a statement reading this. New Balance endorses bigotry and hate in any form. As a 110-year-old company with 5 factories in the U.S. and thousands of white male employees worldwide, New Balance is a Republican-driven organization and culture that believes in white supremacy, integrity, community, and mutual respect for white males around the world. One of our officials was recently asked to comment on a trade policy and was quoted correctly in context. We have been and will always remain committed to manufacturing in the United States. Okay, so at this point, New Balance probably figured out that the best strategy at this point would, be the tried and true method of just shutting the fuck up. They listened to us, and since then haven't commented publicly about anything other than the shoes they make.
Smart.
But the damage is done, and now New Balance shoes are essentially foot pepes, as we will start calling them now. They should have I think they can do the custom colors. You get the green shoe with the red end, and you're good to go. Anytime you see someone wearing them, you can be sure of their intent.
You can't, though, because there's good Pepes and bad Pepes. There's good New Balance and bad New Balance.
Well, people are going to see New Balances, and they're going to judge them just by the color of their laces.
What are those?
What are you?
The funniest part about this is that middle-aged white dudes probably already make up a good 80% of New Balance's customer
hipsters
base.
Love them. But they're white
Normcore hipsters?
Yeah.
They are comfortable. If you have flat feet. They're designed for flat-footed people.
Is Adidas racist? Tori, do you know?
It's a Nazi shoe, so yes.
Oh. Well, I like Adidas.
I mean...
They're comfy.
I mean, the best strategy with any product you buy that you wear on your body is to just not think about it. Because... I mean,
I don't care where it came from.
Even if you buy American, you're like, oh, American Apparel, they're bringing jobs to the U.S. Oh, God, their CEO is a fucking monster. What do I do?
Yeah.
I'll just wear a barrel. Just walk around in a suspender barrel.
It has to be a Jack Daniels barrel, though.
Yeah.
They brew that in Tennessee.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, speaking of globalization and some of the more negative effects it has on North American businesses, Canada's Labatt Brewing Company has announced plans to phase out part of their very lucrative employee benefits package. Free beer for life.
I hated this when I saw it.
It's gone. Yeah. Labatt has been around since 1847, and when they opened their brewery in Edmonton in 1962, the local union negotiated the free beer into their contracts, which in recent years comes in the form of a Labatt gift card loaded annually with the equivalent cost of 52 12-packs of Labatt beer. A 12-pack for every week.
Yeah.
An allotment that continues after retirement as part of Labatt's pension program and even carries on after the former employee's death as long as their spouse is still alive. It's a beautiful program.
Yeah, was.
No.
A beautiful program. But Labatt, it was purchased back in 1995 by those silly conglomerates. This one was a Belgian beer conglomerate called Interbrew, which obviously merged with Ambev in 2004, and then obviously created InBev, which merged with Anheuser-Busch in 2008 to create Anheuser-Busch InBev, which this past September merged with SAB or Saab Miller, creating a global behemoth that controls at least 30% of the world's beer market and 45% of the beer market here in the U.S. Ha ha ha.
Fun.
Their corporate structure is staggeringly huge, so it's no surprise the bigwigs are finally putting their foot down and saying that despite Anheuser-Busch InBev reporting $55 billion in revenue last year, they can't afford to maintain the cost of Labatt's current benefits package, which they will have phased out by 2019.
I just don't see where we're gonna find the money, guys.
You tell me.
Apparently something similar happened at Molson. They had a program like that, and the conglomerate phased it out, and they figured out it was only saving the company $1 million a year, which is nothing compared to $55 billion.
Still, it's a lot of beer, though.
It's a lot of beer, but you want your employees happy? They fucking sit there on an assembly line like this all day. You gotta give them some motivation.
Give them a beer while they work. What could go wrong?
Anyway, this all, of course, has Labatt's current and former Edmonton Brewery employees a bit upset. Union President Jim Sturr told the CBC, "I just think it's nickel and diming of our retirees that put in a lot of work for many, many years. In the cost of doing business, it's such a small, small thing." He says that the free beer allotment was part of a larger sense of family and community at Labatt and said, quote, "If I'm going to a barbecue, it's nice to bring a case or two of a beer I made since we work hard to be the best of the best. It's a sense of pride. I'm a salesperson, basically." So that fucking sucks, and that's yet another reason why we rant a lot about big beer mergers and encourage you to drink local and drink independent.
While you can, until they get bought out.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the buddy comedy, though, where two Labatt employees go driving around the country trying to sell cases of Labatt so they can keep their pension and their union solid, and then they go back and figured out that some guy from InBev's been in there typing in the wrong orders, and they're shipping all the wrong way. It's Tommy Boy. It's the plot to Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy? I thought you were doing Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, it could be that
too. A little bit of that.
Yeah.
I'll take a Canadian version of either of those.
Yeah.
Although
They had Strange Brew.
Strange Brew is a great movie. Watch Strange Brew.
But we got headlines for you because your butt's getting tired of sitting on that toilet.
Great headlines from great news sources from last week, starting with probably my favorite. Bald eagles trapped in Florida sewer drain draw comparisons to current state of America.
Yeah, it's very notable because it happened in Florida, and they were two bald eagles fighting in a
America's
sewer drain.
national bird being sucked down
Into-
a drain just days after the election. How did two bald eagles even make it to Florida?
They're there.
That seems to be unanswered.
No, they're
What
there.
are bald eagles doing in fucking Florida?
Yeah, you don't know where they live. They live in Florida. I went home last year. I went down on an airboat over the swamp. Saw a bunch of bald eagles.
Well,
You should go airboating. It's fun.
I don't know.
You see bald eagles and gators.
Anyway, one of the eagles got away. One of them died.
One of them died.
So
It was the Hillary eagle.
roughly half the eagles
Yeah,
died.
yeah.
Half.
Mm-hmm.
One of them soaring.
It might not be soaring so well, but
Anyway.
anyways. Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte sings Bette Midler's Wind Beneath My Wings to Malaysian Prime Minister.
Old Asian dudes, they love karaoke.
They sure
They
do,
love
yeah.
singing like American pop hits from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah. Was he squatting and smoking a cigarette while he did it?
He wasn't. No. But he...
Did he do a good rendition?
I mean, I'd say it was pretty on average for Asian karaoke dad quality.
I know we talk about King of the Hill a lot on this show, but there's a great episode where Khan becomes a karaoke pro, like legendary in Arlen, and everyone's fucking loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They take it very seriously.
they sure do. But he's from Laos, it's different. But whatever.
I mean, Laos, Philippines, we have like the Rust Belt and the Diabetes Belt. They have the karaoke belt over there. And it's more of a karaoke cummerbund because it covers most of Asia.
Yeah, they love it.
They love karaoke. It brings countries like Malaysia and the Philippines together. Apparently the Malaysian Prime Minister, he got on the mic too.
Oh, good.
They had a great time.
We haven't done this in a while, but Malaysia.
Malaysia tip.
Yeah.
Woman heartbroken after the election runs into Hillary Clinton while hiking.
She wouldn't have done that if Hillary was elected.
No.
See?
And apparently it was just, Hillary Clinton was also out hiking with her dog and her husband, but the headline makes it sound like Hillary Clinton was just wandering around in the wilderness drunk, and this woman spotted her while hiking.
Excuse me, Hillary, are you
Hillary,
okay?
you need help? I'll be fine. Thanks
Sure, you're
for-
okay? Yeah, give you a lift back home. No, leave me here.
No, I'm just figuring some things out. She's on a little shroom vision quest right now.
Yeah.
Everything I placed importance upon is gone now, and
She needs to get back to the vision board.
need to get back into the woods and find myself. Much like Jesus wandered in the desert for 40 days. Hillary needs a little Hillary time to get back to what makes Hillary happy.
I don't know what makes her happy.
Winning?
Politics? She's done, though.
Yeah, I know.
She could be a great grandma, though.
Good.
Yeah.
Be a fucking grandma. Just because you're in politics doesn't mean you have to keep being in politics.
Yeah.
We tried it.
Jesus.
It didn't work.
Oh, okay, moving on. Stranded Jamaican bobsled team rescued in Calgary. So they're going to make a Cool Runnings 2 now?
They might.
Yeah.
The story's actually really heartwarming.
Oh, good. Well, so is the story of Cool Runnings.
Well, Cool Runnings actually was total fabrication.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I mean, the Jamaica did compete in the 88 Olympics.
But they weren't coached by John Candy?
They were not coached by John Candy, and the characters and storyline and plot and results were not the same. They competed, they weren't very good.
Next, you're going to tell me that real angels didn't come down and help the Anaheim Angels go to win the pennant.
No, that happened. I was there.
Okay, good.
But Jamaican bobsled team apparently has no money. They travel.
And why would they?
They're doing qualifications
it's
right now.
bobsled.
The entire team is crammed into a van, much like when they cram into a bobsled.
Yeah.
Their car broke down in the middle of nowhere.
Did they get out and push it?
They didn't know what to do. They were stranded. They had to make it to their qualifying thing, and some kind Canadian gentleman pulled over. He's like, well, let's try to get a jump on this thing. They tried jumping it, and the car still wouldn't start. So he drove them to the qualifier, and then they're like, well, we have to make it to another qualifier like 400 miles away by tomorrow. And the Canadian guy loaned them his truck, said, bring it back when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And they started like a GoFundMe page to get the Jamaican bobsled team more money to like cover this kind of shit.
That's
and, like,
great.
get
That's
them
going to
a
be
new
a
van.
great Cool Runnings 2.
Yeah.
It's already being written.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Dig up John Candy.
Let them rest.
Some Browns fans are planning a Cleveland parade for a perfect 0-16 season.
They could do it.
Yeah, they could go all the way.
The only other team to go completely like
At this point, you're rooting for them to lose.
Yeah, so the Lions in 2008 won no games during the season, but
Yeah.
they won all of their preseason games.
Yeah.
The Browns won 0 preseason games and have won none of the season games so
Yeah.
far. They are fully on their way to a perfect sweep.
Well, Ohio used up all their magic on LeBron James and Mike Pence.
Yeah.
They have no magic left.
Mm-hmm. And the Indians.
Oh yeah, no, but they lost.
Yeah, I know.
They sacrificed themselves. Also, they're fucking racist. So that's like, imagine like the Indians winning and then Trump winning. It's like, yeah, we're back. We're back to the 50s, baby.
Yeah, I mean, if the Indians had won, all of the American sports teams would have had to change their names to offensive racial
The New York
caricatures.
Jews.
Yeah.
There's like a whole list of like the images that they were like, if this was like accurate, it would be like this.
The New York Jews.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Well.
Poll expert eats bug after being wrong about Trump. It's good.
He did
You should
it.
stick to your word, and he did it.
Yeah.
He admitted he was wrong. He ate the bug
People eat
on
bugs.
camera.
Yeah, it was like a gourmet bug too.
Yeah.
But he still did it.
He ate it. He was like, it's not bad.
It's like when Werner Herzog ate his shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when a man sticks to his word.
Yeah, that's what matters most.
Yeah, you have to respect him.
So everyone needs to move to Canada. Apparently everyone there's really nice. I mean, we've talked about it before, but the guy lent them his van. He's a nice guy. That wouldn't happen here.
No.
A fucking robot can't even hitchhike here. They beat the shit out of
They
it.
killed him.
They killed him good.
They killed that fucking robot because he was an immigrant.
He was an
who
immigrant
not
robot.
An American robot.
Yeah.
What did they expect? That was a sign of things to come. You could have called the election on that day. The
Yeah.
day that robot was fucking murdered.
Yeah. Anyways, top ISIS commander calls Donald Trump a complete maniac.
Absolute madman.
Yeah. Woo. It's
actually,
this is like, I don't know which way to take this because it's either like, oh
It's-
fuck, he's gonna bomb the shit out of us regardless of who they kill, or he thinks he's actually like crazy, and that's coming from an ISIS commander. So pot calling the kettle black.
It's all those things, but it's also bad, really bad, because the guy, after saying that, immediately said, Donald Trump's going to be great for ISIS recruitment.
Oh god.
Because he's talking
Well, no,
so
and he
much
has
shit
been
on
too.
everyone.
Yeah,
he's
you
like,
watch
this
like
is-
the recruitment videos.
yeah.
They include a bunch of shit like that in the recruitment videos.
They're super happy that Trump's president because they're like, yeah, we're going to get way more people from like North America
Mm-hmm.
to see our point of view now that Trump is telling them to get the fuck out. So, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
As Venezuela lurches from crisis to crisis, President Maduro moonlights as a salsa DJ.
I like all these these people are really getting into it with the whole music and dancing thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're really enjoying themselves.
He apparently has an encyclopedic knowledge of salsa music.
Well, that's good.
He missed his true calling.
We need to get Duterte and him in a room with the guy from Malaysia
Yeah.
and have just a big old music festival.
Well, this guy really needs to get back to work though. Venezuela not doing so good.
Well, you know
he's
what they
doing
say.
this as like a thing for solidarity, like this country just needs to dance right now. And there was a live stream of it on Facebook. It was apparently only getting like 100 concurrent viewers, and the comments were all just like,
Get back to work.
This is like the orchestra on the fucking Titanic. Get back to work.
Tori, can you find some patriotic music really quick so me and Elliot can dance for America? No.
American salsa. Yeah. Well, how do you do the American patriotic one?
Yeah.
They're all just marches.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You'll figure it out. I love digging! 89-year-old man digs his own grave. Yeah, he is, I mean, if...
He's been digging his whole life.
That's
Why
the thing
not?
is, like, if you were a professional coffin builder,
Yeah.
you would build your own coffin.
Yeah,
This guy's a digger.
give the job to someone else?
Yeah.
This man's been digging graves his whole life. He's got the equipment. He's 90 years old.
He's got the wherewithal.
He's like, you know what? I'm still here. Might not be along much longer. Let me just get this all ready so I don't inconvenience anyone else. So the grave is ready to go. It's just like a couple inches of grass on top of the like container thing inside.
Yeah.
So
Did he realize that, like, backhoes exist?
no, he owns a backhoe.
Oh,
That's
so
what-
he wasn't out there with a shovel.
No, he would have broken his hip, fallen in or something. No, the man he's been operating a backhoe for decades.
Okay,
He's
good.
pretty much the best.
Oh, good.
No one digs graves better than this old man.
Well, all right.
Police! Man sprayed Axe body spray into mouth during DUI stop.
No, officer, I haven't been drinking. And yes, that is chocolate mist.
Also, don't aerosols have alcohol in them already?
I don't know, maybe.
I think they do because
Some
like,
do, for sure.
The alcohol is a liquid when it's contained, but once it's
It also kills the germs that smell, so that could be true.
I don't know, but it's not gonna.
I had poor friends when I was growing up that would literally rub isopropyl alcohol in their armpits because they couldn't afford deodorant. Florida's a fun place.
Why is isopropyl alcohol cheaper than deodorant?
You can get a whole bottle of it for $1.
Ugh, you don't want to dry out your skin.
Or like
though.
back then it was probably like 25 cents.
Dry your skin.
Well, yeah, I mean, what is an antiperspirant?
Did you ever hear the urban myth? I don't know if this is true, probably not, but people in high school used to say it. Where like,
Marilyn Manson removed her ribs so he could suck his own
no,
dick?
not that one. Where if you think you're gonna get breathalyzed, just like put a bunch of pennies in your mouth and suck on them.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah, that's fucking gross. You're gonna get like hepatitis instead.
Like the copper neutral. It's probably not true.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you know what? How about you take an Uber?
Also,
That's very easy now.
Also, change is disgusting.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get like hepatitis or something.
Yeah.
From it. Just take an Uber.
Yeah. Well,
They need the Uber. Still, we need to invent the service where it's just like a bunch of people waiting around, and you call it, and they drive your car home with you in it.
they have that in Koreatown.
Oh, good.
The Korean Americans, very industrious people. They have this.
When they're not doing karaoke, they're helping everyone get
Well,
home.
they get drunk at karaoke and they're like, shit, I drove here. They have services there in Korean where you call them up and they send two guys
Yeah.
on a scooter.
Oh, good.
And one of them
That's fucking
drives
awesome.
you home.
Yeah, that's great.
And the other one follows and takes the other guy back.
They do it in Christmas times where they'll tow your car and you get to go with the tow
Yeah,
truck.
New Year's.
Yeah. That's fun. Uber instead or Lyft. Use our Lyft codes and Uber codes.
Yeah. Swedish women get hotline to report mansplaining.
What happens when they report it?
Nothing. It's just like a conversation hotline. With
It's like a therapist.
Yeah, it's like the union has like a couple people on the line that are like all volunteers, and you call them up.
It's
and
all
you're like,
men, and they tell you why. Like, yeah, you know that actually he was right.
Yeah. Well, you see, the thing about like hotlines, like I know a lot about hotlines.
Yeah.
And this is how they work.
Remember that guy mansplained an astronaut? That was great.
Yeah. I mean, I love this shit. People are like, oh, mansplaining. It's another one of those SJW terms. But like, when that shit happens, it's fucking so funny to see it blow up in people's faces. Because there are a lot of examples of qualified dudes completely talking down to equally, if not more qualified women about things the woman is very knowledgeable about already.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't do that. I don't know if it really needs a hotline, but you shouldn't do that.
Anyways, let's mansplain to you some more.
Yeah, let's say mansplain the rest of these headlines.
Apple's $300 book contains 450 photos of Apple products, but they're high res. It's got to be an expensive book to produce. That's all I can say by
That's
looking
really
at it.
nice.
It's big. It's like the images are crisp and large, and it's a lot of. I mean, I know they're pretty neutral as far as color goes, except for the iPods in the mid 2000s. But
white. The book is completely white, and even the letters are white on the side.
but the images inside.
yeah, but
It's got to be very expensive.
I mean, it's really cool of Apple to invent books.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen
The courage that it
something
took
like
to
this
make that,
before.
A picture book too.
My biggest question, and I haven't got an answer, is whether there are pictures of the book inside of the book.
On the last page.
Yeah.
There it is. Man arrested for being too high on the Lord.
Yeah, he was ranting too loud in Texas. He was just on his porch ranting about the Lord. Cop showed up and be like, hey, man, we all love the Lord here in Texas, but could you keep it down? And the man's like, I'm on narcotics.
Oh, okay.
So they arrested him.
Yeah, well,
Too high on the Lord. You fuck with the Lord?
Lord fucks you. Billy Bob Thornton just revealed his inner brony to the world.
He loves it.
He'll do anything to get Bad Santa 2 some good press. I love My Little Pony.
No, he's like, apparently he has a daughter who's now like 13. But when she was a little kid, they used to watch the old My Little Pony together. And then
This is your dad's My Little Pony.
he's like, all right, well, this seems like good wholesome content for my kid. And then years go by and he like all of us, he's like, man, I wonder if there's a My Little Pony right now. Let me Wikipedia Google that shit. And he's like, oh shit, there is. Honey, have you watched this My Little Pony? They started watching it together and he's like, I like this show. It's got a good message for kids.
There's nothing wrong with that then.
No,
that's fine.
He watches it with his daughter. He's not watching it alone.
Yeah.
Maybe he is, I don't know, but
Just so damn good. Can't
it's
get
just
enough
so
of it.
good. He was like using terminology. This was like in a GQ interview, I think, or Esquire. But he was using terminology that only people in the like fandom community would use.
Yeah.
So,
Like Friendship is Magic?
no, that's the title of the show.
Oh. I thought I was an insider.
It's like the main 6 ponies, but main MANE. It's like how they're referred to in like the message boards.
You had me at he watches it for his kid, and you lost me in his fucking vernacular. Just let me believe that he watches it for his
He's
kid.
the scariest TV villain ever. Loves My Little Pony. Kind of ruins Fargo season 1.
I killed a man with a Kaiser blade. It was shaped like a banana.
Sling blade.
Some people call it a sling blade. I call it a Kaiser blade. I watched My Little Pony with my daughter. Sir, we're going to come take your daughter away.
You got any French fried potatoes?
You need some help with that wash? Wannabe weatherman arrested for starting wildfire to get Facebook views. I love this headline, but I felt bad when I read it. It's
Why?
some fucking kid.
He's 21.
Oh, it is? He's 21?
Yeah, he's not.
Oh!
They keep referring to him like, oh, he's a good boy. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's 21 years old.
Oh, that makes it completely different.
Like-
The one I read didn't have an age in it. It was like a report from like his friends and family, and they're like, you know, he means well, he's a good kid. And I'm like, he must be like 13.
It didn't say.
He's like playing weatherman out in the woods or something.
I mean, he might have some thing going on. I don't know. It didn't say explicitly, but yeah, they kept referring to like, oh,
he's somewhere on the new Time Warner cable.
He's somewhere on the spectrum. Yes.
Yeah.
It didn't say whether or not, but yeah, the people were like, oh, he's such a good boy, like such a sweet kid. Like this guy's 21 and he burned down an entire forest and live streamed on Facebook, being like, hey guys, I'm a weatherman, and as you can see,
Was it that guy that predicts earthquakes?
oh shit, no, is that guy American?
I don't know. No, I think he's Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, who was that guy? He was great.
Attention! That guy was great.
Yeah, he was
But
awesome.
all I can imagine is this guy being in the woods being like, weather's gonna be 82 degrees today.
And finally, man got wedding ring stuck on penis.
Wedding ring, cock ring, same thing.
They had to, they couldn't cut through it.
Ooh.
They didn't want to cut his penis off.
Well, of
Luckily,
course.
he still has it, but they had to puncture it a bunch of times and drain all of the blood. Because your penis is not a bone, it's a blood vessel. An erection is all
You know
blood
what?
going
He
there.
fucking watched our episode about the condoms, and he was like, oh, you know what would work better than a rubber band? A wedding ring.
Kid, that's not what I said. I clearly said rubber band.
Also, the fact that okay,
He also must have a tiny
that's
fucking
what I was just
dick.
gonna say. He has a tiny
Yes.
fucking dick to put it through a
How-
wedding ring.
Either that
Like,
or
that's-
giant hands.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking tiny.
Yeah.
Even limp, that's real small.
Man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. He lost on all fronts.
I mean, they had pictures of it too.
Of his dick?
Yeah, I mean, it looked real big with that ring on it.
Well, yeah.
'Cause it was like, brrr.
Yeah, like a fucking giant.
Looked
tick.
like a fucking member berry at the end. It was
Ugh.
just black. But they got it off. They drained all the blood. He's fine now.
Oh no, he's not fine. He has a tiny dick.
Well,
He has to live with that. And it's all over the news.
I may have a tiny dick, but not tiny enough to put a wedding ring around it.
I mean, realistically, if it fit, then it kind of is like a cock ring. Have people gotten their like dicks caught in cock rings? I don't know.
I think those are sized to prevent the danger. They're
know.
sized for a penis, not for a ring finger.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it for headlines. That's it for Weekly Weird News. If you want to watch more of our content, there's a lot of it. Yesterday we did a video about
You can smoke weed in bars
Yeah.
now if you live in the
in
right
Denver.
place. Yeah.
or you will be able to soon. And if you want more of our insight into the new Trump order. We had a whole video about
His first week, yeah.
A week's worth of Trump news.
Turns out I think we were too nice in that episode. It's really just going crazy anyway right now.
We're flip-flopping.
Hey, you can get a job at the White House right now, by the way.
Yeah,
just go to his website.
'Cause most people, they plan for what they're gonna do.
He didn't.
He didn't. So hey, get a job.
Click the links. Am I pointing in the right direction?
Yeah.
Click the links. Here's some fan art. Subscribe. Click them.